Our 11th Precinct Police Community Relations meeting. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you for everyone who's online. We're going to go ahead and get started with prayer. Chaplain Bailey, can you open us up in prayer, please?
Yes, can. Father, we just thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to come together in unity and in oneness. Father, we just thank you for how you just kept us. Yep, add an extension onto our life, watching over our family, our children, and Father, you're such a good God. But right now, Father, we ask that we all have have a minute of silence for the family that lost 3 family members on the west side, the house fire here on the east side, and the 10-year-old earlier they got shot. Father, we ask you to touch each and every family. We ask you, Father, bring peace to them, Lord. We know that they're going through, and we know that in this time of trouble, they need you more than ever before. In the mighty name of Jesus. So, Father, as this meeting goes on, let us take everything in, digest it, and be able to release it to someone else. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Bailey, for that. So roll call, myself, Kim Jackson, President of the 11th Precinct Police Community Relations Council. I do see my treasurer online, Mr. Leon Wire. Hello, how are you, sir? Good evening. Thank you for coming out tonight. And I don't see none of my sergeant at arms, but I can't see all the names up there, so I'm not going to begin to try. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead. You ready for the report now?
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start the police report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Johnson, 11th Precinct. I'm just gonna go over briefly some statistics and some initiatives that we are currently engaged in the 11th Precinct. Year to date, we have had 27 homicides, which we are down 10% from last year. Aggravated assaults, we are at 628, which is down 21%. And our non-fatal shootings are down to 68, down 15% from last year. Our robberies are down 15%, but unfortunately, our carjackings are up to 14 from 12 this time last year, which is a rise of 17%. So just some of the things that we are continuing to do to combat crime. I really want to take my hat off to the hardworking members of the Detroit Police Department, but specifically the 11th Precinct. We have some awesome people, not only your NPOs that you know and see every day, but as well, our detective bureau does some amazing work. And we also have our ceasefire unit, our 30 series unit, which augment our patrol. So some of the things that we're trying to do is up our traffic enforcement. And as I promised, the last community meeting that we have an additional, Commander Pritchard was able to allow us to have an additional traffic officer. So I'm super excited about that. He just transferred in from another precinct. So we now have 3. So that's going to be able to help us kind of up the enforcement. Additionally, we're refocusing on our green light gas stations, so that we can, deliver on our promise to make those, not only are they a priority 1, but even when they don't call, we're going to try and make it safer and easier for you to get in and out of the store as well as get your gas. So those are some of the main things that we're really, really focused on at the 11th Precinct. Lastly, I did want to just mention that we are, City Council will be voting on ShotSpotter. And I just really, and I know we went over that in depth. What was it? 2 meetings last week? 2 meetings ago, we went over that in depth. I can answer some questions, but like I said, we did go over that in depth, but I really, really implore you to support that at every chance to do that. Additionally, we're going to be having, the chief is going to be having a town hall meeting on September 22nd from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Detroit Edison Public School Academy at 1903 Wilkins, Detroit, Michigan, obviously 48207. So we do have a QR code as well as a link which I think we're gonna hopefully post in the text. And anybody who's here, we can also help you register so that you can go to the meetings. And with that, I think that's about it. Yes.
Do we have any questions for our captain? Yes, Mr. McCann.
I have a issue. And it is, first of all, I would just like to thank the I don't know what department, but anyway, I got my speed bumps on my street. Thank you for that. Okay, but I have a bike rider. And he's hitting everything that ain't nailed down. He had a spot on 6 Mile in Davidson where he was trying to get his little coins, but just today, he went into my neighbor's garage and took his saw. And I've learned since then that he has hit several other neighbors and garages in the house. And he riding on the bike.
You see them?
Yes, I have, and I've also threatened him not to ride that alley, my alley, because he's been in my yard.
Don't give away too much, Mr. McCann. Some of the
All
police.
Right, I need some help.
So that's what we'll do. I'll get with you on that. We'll definitely get some.
Okay, I need some help,
No, you know, we'll take care of it. You know that.
okay?
All right, do we have any other questions, any other concerns? Oh, I gotta make it brand new title. All right. For our captain, we have any concerns?
Yes, Madam President, can you hear me?
Yes, do kind of low, but we can hear you.
Okay, your Sergeant of Arms, Dr. Moore, I'm on board. But what I wanted to ask the captain, could he repeat the information in regards to that meeting on September the 22nd?
11:18.
I'm gonna give it to you one more time, and then, like I said, we're gonna put it in the link, and then I'm gonna give everybody the neighborhood police officer phone number, so that in case you miss anything, you can give them a call as well. So one more time, it's gonna be September 22nd, 2022, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Detroit Edison Public School Academy at 1903 Wilkins Street.
What's the name of that street again?
Wilkins,
Wilson.
down by the Eastern Market. So that's next Thursday.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Either anyone on Zoom or anyone else in the audience, just in case our captain needs to leave. I want to make sure we get it.
My neighbor was supposed to leave, and they raised the window, and I'm going out my side door to go to my garage with my car. Easy run, and I ain't never smoked, I ain't doing none of that stuff.
I'm there with you.
Awful. So what can I do without getting arguing with them? I already was talking about the words, not having them, so it'll look better. But the weed, that side window, when I'm trying to get into my garage, it's wrong.
No, but we can, maybe we can have an MPO. Do me a favor, can you see one of the MPOs before you leave, and then we'll have somebody come by your house, okay? We'll get one of our teammates, one of our MPOs to come by, and then maybe have a polite conversation. Perhaps they can kind of maybe open the back window.
That's what I can't say when they got a back one. Thank you.
No.
Okay. William, does you want to introduce the new MPO? Tell her to come on. I know she keep guarding now, so she come right on back. Yes, ma'am.
I think the deputy has said something about refocuses that they're, I guess, looking like that. They said three things at the stores or whatever. What was the other two focuses? I think it's like three of them.
Well, our main focus is the traffic, the green lights, and as well as just the targeted crime mapping area. So, and then we're talking about ceasefire. So those are some of the main focuses that we talked about last time. So we're able to bring in a new traffic officer, and then, like I said, we are upping the patrols visits to the green lights, and then as the ceasefire or the shot spotter addition is up for approval, and so we will be participating in that as well. Another addition, which I did forget to talk about, is that we will be actually, I'm very excited about this, we're gonna be launching our mental health card. I helped start that program downtown, and it has, since I have left, Captain Tanya Leonard Gilbert is over it, and she has done an amazing job with kind of rolling it out with the help of Gwen. So we're really excited about that. So we're gonna have, that's gonna be in addition to that precinct actually starting next week. So we're very, very excited about that.
Okay. Okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. And I see my favorite friend in the house. Oh, before we get to you. Come on,
I didn't introduce myself.
I know,
Yes, you
yeah.
are. Now is the time of
Exactly, we want
praise.
you to come up here so they can see you.
Yes, sir. Hi, again, hi everybody, my name is Officer Sakuya. I guess I'm a new addition to the APOs, and I hope I'll be able to serve you all, any concerns, any complaints. You guys can contact me, and I'll be, I'll. And hopefully I'll be there for all your needs, if you have any concerns or complaints or anything.
So she is being very, very modest, which is one of her gifts. This is one of our hardest working police officers at the precinct. And I have argued and kicked and screamed so that she would stay on patrol. However, and the commander is the commander for a reason. She has moved as a career over to NPOs, which I am very excited about. And I know that she's gonna do a fantastic job. So thank you very much.
Welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put my president's report down at the bottom, just because we have a couple of speakers in the house this evening, and I want to get to them because I know you guys have great information to share. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna start with Mr. Downwell, because I know you at the crack of dawn. So I'm gonna let you give us some good information, so I know you can get out of here. And what I'm gonna do is, I don't know if you like to bring a seat so they can see you. Can we turn the camera or we can't?
If you don't mind, I'm just gonna stay right here.
Okay, that'll be great.
So I always like to come in and sit back, survey things. So if I stay right here, everybody here will be able to see me,
All
and
right.
everybody out there will be able to see me.
Oh, yeah. Got it. That's a beautiful move. Thank you.
Yep. So again, I appreciate just having this time this evening to be able to present to you. My name is Willie Donwell. I'm the administrator for the City of Detroit's Board of Review. The Board of Review is a non-member body appointed by City Council to hear your property tax appeal concerns. But one of the things I always like to do, especially when I'm at one of the precincts, is just happen to mention that I don't know any of the officers here. And for me, I appreciate not knowing the captain, not knowing this officer here, because generally our first encounter with police is during something that's not possible. So what that means is by me not knowing them, somebody's doing their job, and all the bad guys are waiting for me. So thank you for the work that you do. Again, Willie Dowell, Administrator for the Detroit Board of Review. You know, we always talk about our property, which is one of the most important things and typically the largest investment that will make our entire life. And so we want to make sure that you understand whatever tax bill you receive you actually have an opportunity to challenge that assessment prior to it being done. You actually have a chance to challenge it prior to it being done. Every single year, whether you receive a notice in the mail or not, whether somebody calls and tells you whether or not, again, you get that this is not a bill, statement in the mail, you have the right to appeal your assessment. In the city of Detroit, it's between February the 1st and the 22nd. Between February the 1st and the 22nd is the starting point. It's called the assessor's review, where you have an opportunity to file an appeal with the Office of the Assessor, and they will work with you to make a determination as relates to whether or not your assessment is fair. Now, a lot of people have a lot of questions about the assessor's review, say it's not necessary. In my opinion, it is, because during the assessor review process, the assessor's office will see upwards of 10 to 14,000 appeals. And a number of those appeals is just a matter of clerical adjustments, where someone may have checked the wrong box, or they filed a proper transfer affidavit, or there was some other mistake that was made during the filing process. It reduces that large number to a smaller amount of appeals that actually wind up going in front of the board of review itself. And that's the part where if you're not satisfied with the determination made by the Office of the Assessor, you have a right to file an appeal with the March board review. It begins the Tuesday following the first Monday in March, and generally will go until at least 3 weeks into March. We do not typically meet that last week in March because we are working with the Office of the Assessor to calculate all of our changes so that the assessment roll can be signed on that first Monday in April, in which it has to be sent over to the county for equalization. But it's important. It's important that you know this information, because when we start talking about things like assessments, and yes, over assessments is kind of a hot button, you need to understand what your rights are going forward. I can't do anything about the past, but I can help you make sure that going forward, you're at an assessment that is fair and correct, and that you understand the process and how you're being taxed. That is very, very, very important, especially going forward. You know, we talk about things like all the development, new things that's happening in the city, but Detroit is one of, well, Michigan actually, is one of the few states in the country where you're actually protected as long as you own your property based upon proposal A and taxable value. It's only going to increase each year by the rate of inflation, which is very, very important to know. Very important to know, because it means that if somebody comes and builds a brand new development in your neighborhood, the assessment can go to the moon, but the taxable value can only increase by the rate of inflation. And that's what's going to help you be able to stay in your home, because you're paying based on the taxable value and not the assessed value. Now, if you come in front of the board review, it's a little bit more of a formal process. You want to have some type of comparables or be able to make some type of legitimate statement as relates to why you believe your assessment is not fair. And I'm going to be honest, 97% of the folks that come in front of the board review have found adjustments. Typically, where we are not able to make adjustments is because the taxable value is so low below the assessed value that even if we make an adjustment on the assessed value, it's not going to reduce the amount of taxes that you will pay. So please understand that we will do everything possible to make sure that your assessment is fair. But when it comes to actually reducing your taxes, it is a matter of reducing the assessed value below the taxable value. And we consider everything that you present to us when you are coming in front of the board review. And even if you're not satisfied with the decision that we make, you have the right to appeal to the Michigan Tax Tribunal. The Michigan Tax Tribunal is really a formal process where you're going in front of either a hearing officer or a judge, and you're going to make a formal statement as relates to how your property is assessed. Some people tend to want to go out and find a representative to help them with that process, but it may not be as difficult as you think it is. It's just how you're going to make your presentation. And the key is to have enough information so that you can present your case in the most favorable way. There are a number of other nonprofits that can actually help you with that process. The Michigan Property Tax, the Detroit Coalition for Property Tax Justice, Detroit Justice Center are two really good advocates. United Community Housing Coalition, and again, I work for the city. And when I'm talking about other entities that can help you through the process, I believe in fairness and equity. I believe in fairness and equity to make sure that you have as much information as possible to make sure that your property is being assessed fairly. Now, I'm going to mention a couple of other things and open the floor for questions. The other couple of things I want to mention is NEZs. Now, neighborhood enterprise zones. See, the city council kind of had the office of the assessor redistrict the 52 neighborhoods and create 153 areas in the city in which neighborhood enterprise zones exist. In order to qualify for an NEZ homestead, all you're going to do is be in one of those 153 areas, and you would have had to purchase the property after December 31st of 1996, so January 1, 1997, and you're going to commit to doing at least $500 worth of work on the property over 3 years. And this is for your primary residence. It doesn't work for rental property, doesn't work for commercial property. It's for your primary residence only. It will reduce your city and county portion of your millages by 50%. So together, they're close to 26%. It reduces it to like 12.59 in terms of the millage rate. So $12.59 per thousand is what it will be reduced to for 15 years. I'll answer this one question. I'm gonna.
You said purchase before when?
Purchased after January 1, 1997. Statute says December 31st, 1996. So it's just, as long as it's January 1, 1997, you're good. And the NEZ process, again, you don't even have to have done the work. It is a $500 commitment that you're going to do the work over 3 years. It is another opportunity that the city is providing to make sure that homeowners have the ability to find assistance with their property tax bills. Another opportunity that exists is for our seniors, solid waste reduction. For a senior that is 65 and older, total household income of $40,000 or less, can see a reduction in their solid waste fee by 50%. So typically for a homeowner, solid waste fee is $240. It is a fee and not a tax. It is a fee and not a tax. So what this process does, it allows the homeowner to see that $240 or $340 based upon the size of the home. What I mean by size, single family would be $240, two family is $340. You're paying $100 for the extra year. Four family flats is $440. Again, you're paying for each additional unit. But at the end of the day, it will be cut in half if you qualify for that process. You only have to apply once, and it will stay on the property as long as you're in your home. Then there is the veterans exemption. In November of 2013, Governor Granholm signed into law Public Act 161, which changed MCL 21170. And long and short of it is, if you are a disabled veteran and you fit in one of three categories, 100% service-connected disability, or special adaptive housing, meaning that the Veteran Affairs came out and put a wheelchair ramp or some type of handicap assistance to the home, or considered individually unemployable, then you can receive an exemption on your homestead. It's one of the three, just one of the three. And the great part about it is, again, you do have to apply every year, but it is not income-based. It is not income-based. It is solely based on completing a Form 5107 every year, providing a copy of your Veteran Affairs statement that you'll receive at the end of the year, and a copy of your ID showing that you live in your home. That's it. And then the last thing that I want to mention that is really close to my heart And we have saved over 10,000 homes from foreclosure. And when people say that the city of Detroit does not provide abatements or assistance for our homeowners, last year alone, we provided over $12 million in tax relief for homeowners. It is the homeowners property tax exemption for the HOPE program. What it does is, and I have some applications here on the table. What it does is, for our low income homeowners, it provides a reduction or elimination in the current year property taxes. It provides a reduction or elimination in the current year property taxes. You know, and one of the biggest challenges that we have, especially as we get older, we're on a fixed income. We are dealing with, you know, those things that we typically did not have to deal with before. And so this again provides an opportunity for our lowest income homeowners to get away from the idea of paying property taxes. If you are behind on your property taxes, and you know, I've been fighting for this ever since I started in 2007, arguing with state legislators and city and the county, and finally we got the pay-as-you-stay program implemented a couple of years ago. Actually, it was the same month and year that COVID started. March of 2020, Governor Whitmer came down to Michigan, to Detroit, and signed into law Public Act 263, which amended MCL 2117U, and it provides for the reduction of back taxes based upon receiving an exemption. So if you receive a HOPE exemption at any level, doesn't matter if it's 100%, 25%, 50%, 10%, you become eligible for the PAYS program. You do not have to reapply. Simply what happens is, once the Board of Review approves that exemption, I then forward that information to the Wayne County Treasurer's Office. He then will send you a statement, and it will reduce the amount of back taxes owed to either the amount owing in taxes or 10% of the taxable value, whichever is less. And let me give that to you in real money. Real case situation. Young lady owed $15,000 in back taxes. Her taxable value was $11,200. $15,000 in back taxes, taxable value $11,200. She received a 10% exemption. The $15,000 was reduced to $1,120. Here's the even greater benefit. Because of an agreement from Dan Gilbert and the Gilbert Family Fund, dollars that are administered by Wayne Metro. The city of Detroit does not touch or administer these dollars. They're administered by Wayne Metro because we would not accept the responsibility. We wanted to make sure that everything stayed clean. And so once she was approved, they actually paid off the $1,120. And through this process, we have been able to take more than 10,000 homes to zero back taxes. Over 10,000 homes to zero back taxes. What does that mean for your neighborhoods? No foreclosure means no loss of a neighbor. Means no additional cost to the city. That if that property becomes vacant, you have the chance of somebody being abducted in an attack, a fire, or some other occurrence happening in that property. It being vacant and vandalized, and ultimately, statistically, we have shown that each abandoned property that has happened in the city of Detroit could cost the city up to $90,000, based upon, again, the number of police runs and other things that happens with that abandoned property. So this has been a pathway to help stabilize our communities. It is important. It is important that even if it's not you, that if you know someone, please share this information. We are truly trying to keep people in their homes. We only have a short window for the PAYS program. It actually sunsets next year, and we actually will stop taking applications on May the 1st, unless it's extended. The statute actually says July the 1st, but because of the process and the way the statute works, we cannot do anything after July 1st. So we have to have a cutoff in which we can actually process things and to make sure that those that are approved are entered into the program. So it is important, again, that if you don't know, and it's not you, share it, get people to know, so that we can make sure that we are saving as many homeowners as we can. On September the 27th, in Hart Plaza, in the Spirit Plaza, right in front of the City County building, we're going to be doing our resource fair. We're going to have we're going to have Wayne Metro. It's going to be there helping us with all the applications. We're going to have the water department doing the affordability program. We're going to have the health department doing vaccinations and health test screenings. We're going to have a DTE providing information regarding utility services. So it is important that you come out. This resource fair is unlike most that you may have been to, because our purpose for this resource fair is to actually give you access. It is not just for people to come out and get information. This is for you to be able to come down and apply for or get access to what it is that you're trying to find out about or get help with. The one thing that oh, yep, it's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's going to be a great opportunity for you to have access. The only office that we're going to have there that they will be providing information, but will not be open for taking applications, is going to be in Detroit. Very soon, you're going to be hearing about the second phase. But in that second phase is between October the 1st and October 31st. But they are going to have a table there to be able to share information and again, answer any questions that you may have. All right. So again, please, 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 if you're a property owner, even if you've never even been through the process, every homeowner should go through the process of filing an appeal just once. So you can understand the process and know what it is. So if someone ever talks to you and say, well, you know, they're doing this or they're doing that, or you will know for yourself what government is doing regarding your assessments and how your property is taxed. I kind of sit in that seat to kind of help make sure that things are done properly. I'm not the assessor, again, with board review, and my job is to hear appeals and oversee the board the processes that hears those appeals. But it's important that you go through the process so you can understand what the office of the assessor is doing. And if you believe it's unfair, then you file an appeal through my office and we work on fixing it. All right. Do you have any questions?
Oh, how often do you have to do that? Is that every year since it's for the current year? Or do you do it every couple of years? How does that actually work?
Excellent question. So in general, you do have to apply every year. In general, you do have to apply every year. However, if you're on a sole source of income from a government source, such as Social Security, disability, retirement, again, from a government source, you can apply once and the city can provide it to you for up to an additional 3 years without the application. Because, I mean, what's really going to happen unless you hit the Powerball and make it?
Right.
So you know, the goal is to reduce the amount of work that you have to do to see the benefit and just enjoy the fact that, you know, you qualify for the process.
I didn't get that date.
Yes, September the 27th, it's a Tuesday, and it's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Spirit Plaza, right in front of the city chapel.
Now, the $500 program to, you know, be doing work for your home. Okay. Do you need to provide receipts? When do you?
So the first requirement is you must live in one of the 153 neighborhoods.
And how do you find out? Go to the
And you go
website?
to the city's website and put in there NEZ neighborhood, and a map will connect you to a link with the map, and it'll show you all the neighborhoods and the boundaries for those neighborhoods. And that $500 is a commitment. You will not have to spend it. It is a commitment for work that you are going to do. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Kent.
What about our people that don't have access to?
You know, I love that question. So you can call either 224-3035. And if you don't get somebody, call me directly, 628-2673. What I don't believe is in government hiding behind not answering the phones.
Okay.
I think it's the most embarrassing, unthoughtful, uncaring process in the world. Citizens need to be respected, and when you call, somebody needs to pick up the phone. And just understand, even if you leave me a message, somebody will be back to you in less than 48 hours.
Okay, give it to me again.
313-224-3035. My number is 313-628-2673.
I felt like I was in school. That was a whole lot of writing.
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell me your name again.
It's Willie Donwell. D as in David, O-N-W-E-L-L. And if you go to the city's website and put Donwell in the search, I'm the only one that's gonna pop up.
Okay. I have one more. For the about the taxes, only because I have someone who's really in need for this tax exemption. She's 94, and they had a water main in their area, and she went to sleep and thought she had turned the faucet off, left it on. So she has damages in her house, and now her taxes are due. So it's like, yes, she does have insurance on the property. Yes, property, but then trying to get your house fixed and being inconvenient at the same time in that age.
So call me directly. And again, if you have, I'll put it like this. If you're of age in this city, I have a immense affection for our seniors and our disabled. I personally come out or visit folks at their homes to help them with their paperwork. With all the stuff that I have to do, I take the time, like this evening, take the time to, whether it's 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and on weekends and Sundays. Again, one of the worst things that I hate is for people to be expected to pay for something like taxes and can't get the service that they're supposed to have. So I truly believe in what public service is supposed to be.
He's the most visible city assessor I've ever known.
Do we have any questions online? Also, are there any questions or concerns online? Do we have any hands up? No, I can't see that far. No. Okay. Yes. I felt like I was back in school because I don't write. I got more notes down here, but I mean, it's great information. I mean, how can you not get this information down? It's just so much help out there and people just don't know. You know, we have to share this. No one should ever lose their home, period.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, and I'll be done. Understand property taxes have a purpose. The idea of property taxes is to pay for city services, for our police, our fire, our ambulances, for government to actually function. It actually provides a service. What I ask that you do, again, is go through the process of understanding how your one particular home is assessed and ultimately taxed. And at the same time, keep all of those individuals, including me, responsible for our actions. When city council is working on something or there's certain legislation that you want to see enacted, bring it forward. Be active, participate. One of the things that I think we have the biggest challenges on is that we expect certain things to happen, and when it doesn't, we want to point the finger. Understand that when we point the finger, we actually should be pointing it at ourselves because we elected them. And they appointed individuals or help hire individuals. I'm appointed by city council. So I take what I do extremely seriously. That's why I've been here so long.
You do good work.
Amen to that. You do good work.
So I just want to make sure that I'm conveying to you the opportunity that you have to participate, hold people accountable, and get the changes or whatever you need done.
One more question. People who live in what they call, I guess, a business residential area.
Okay.
I mean, when they redid it, did they take into consideration that when you're in a business, a residential area? Is your assessment just in residential, or does it border residential business?
Great question. So assessing actually works in territories. There is no, in the state of Michigan, there is no blanket process that allows assessing for an entire municipality. A local assessor must work on areas by neighborhoods for residential, and then commercial by type. So restaurants are in a category together, gas station in a category together, office buildings, so on, as relates to commercial. Same with industrial. Residential, however, has to be broken down by neighborhood. And every neighborhood has to be assigned and geographically compared with only those properties from that neighborhood. If there are not enough sales from that neighborhood, then they have to go to the next neighborhood that's closest to similarities of that neighborhood. But in residential, it's by neighborhood, and then commercial is by type. Commercial industrial is by type.
Even if it's, I'm gonna say, bordered in or boxed in by business, but on each side of the businesses, it's residential.
Yep.
And within, say, a quarter mile, right?
Yep. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So let's just say Conant 7 Mile, right? Conant 7 Mile, you've got Nuns across the street, you got the liquor store, you got Happy's, all this stuff, right? A lot of commercial stuff. All of those commercial business buildings and businesses are assessed according to type. When you get into the neighborhood, you're actually looking at, when you get to 7 Mile and Conant, that is actually 4 different neighborhoods. So that makes it over England and south, that area is a neighborhood. England going north, and where it bends around, and you have that, not the church, it's been closed forever, the nursing home. that's been closed, forever, again. But the residential property, I believe it's 6 blocks, 7 blocks, is one particular neighborhood. And the city is broken up like that across the entire city. So actually, if you go to, fought to get this done, it's done. But I have a great partner in assessing Alvin Horn. If you go to the City of Detroit website and put in, again, in the search, put in sales study, you can see all the sales that were used for assessing property in the city to create the assessment roll. And it is broken down by neighborhood. So you can actually, and this is now done every year. So you can actually pull down the same information that was used by the Office of the Assessor to value property in every single neighborhood. Again, transparency. You should know. You shouldn't be guessing. What sales did they use to value my property? It's on the city's website. And I'm probably sure most of them didn't know it's available, but that's why I like coming up with these events to share information.
Wow. All right. So that's a question about real property. You asked a question about real property, I need to read it. No, okay, so what about, do the houses in Detroit have to be registered, rental houses?
Yes, they are supposed to be registered.
That is supposed to be registered.
Yep, buildings and safety.
Okay.
And landlords have the same right to file an appeal, just like homeowners. Every property owner has the right to file an appeal. You don't have to wait for notice. All right.
We have one on the, one online.
All right.
Yes, yes, Madam President, I'd like to ask a question for, Mr. Willie. Mr. Willie, my question is, this meeting that you spoke of, that's gonna be on September the 24th, where's the location and what time is it gonna be?
September the 27th, September the 27th in Spirit Plaza. That's right in front of the city county building.
What time?
11 to 4.
Okay, and you said 27th? Or was it 24?
On September 27th.
9/27.
27.
Yep, 9.
Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing here. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you put that in the chat for me, please? Thank you. Make sure I got it right.
You gotta buy, you get on register the house, you gotta find on the landlord, you get on register home.
It
Get
can
home,
be. It can be. It depends on, now that's buildings and safety. So I would suggest whoever that landlord is to contact and buildings and safety. And then also there is information on the city's website as relates to the requirements for rental property in the city of Detroit. Before he stepped down, Councilman Spivey worked on changes to the rental ordinance. And so there were certain things that's now codified that does require a property owner to file with the city of Detroit. And yes, there can be penalties for not properly following the rules. All right, any more questions? All right, well, thank you all. And and listen, all my property owners, I want to see you in March. Even if you go through the assessment review process, I still want to see you in March. It's important that you do that because I want you to know that the process, what it is, and how it works for you. All right. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Oh my God. Unfortunately, I don't know either one of your names, but you're with the U.S. Attorney's Office?
That's right.
Oh, okay, well, I got that part right. So if you guys like to come up here, please introduce yourselves, give us some information and all that good stuff. Thank you for attending tonight.
Thanks for having us. Kind of hard to follow Mr. Donwell.
I know, right?
We don't have nearly that much to say. So my name is Craig Weiner.
I'm Diane Prince.
And as we were just introduced, we are Assistant United States Attorneys. We are federal prosecutors. I work in the violent crime unit in our office, and Diane works in the general crimes unit in the office. And so these are the two units in that office that deal with violent crime and firearms crime here in Detroit, in the U.S. Attorney's Office, federal prosecutors. And so I wanted to talk just for a minute, in addition to introducing ourselves, I wanted to talk just for a minute about something your chaplain mentioned in the blessing, and that is partnership and unity and the work we're doing. And I want to talk a little bit about the partnership that we are working on and developing with the Detroit Police Department, with your captain, and with some of the folks here. And I also know, I think Mr. Livingston, who's a part of the management team in our office, is here regularly. And so I'm going to try not to repeat myself, and I'm going to try not to take too much of your time. But I just want you all to know, so my boss, Dawn Eisen, U.S. Attorney, our boss, Ms. Eisen, she is a product of Detroit. She lives and breathes what happens here in the city, and has been affected herself by violence, and has brought a passion to addressing and doing what we can to reduce violent crime in the city to us. And so she has put us on a very, you all probably don't know Dawn that well, Dawn is very clear. Dawn lets us know exactly what she thinks, and Dawn has tasked us with that mission of doing whatever we can to reduce violent crime. And so we've learned over years, both nationally and social scientists, and here locally through our hard experience, we've learned tragically a lot about violent crime. And we've learned that violent crime clusters in certain ways, and that some of it's predictable, and that sometimes in the past, we've taken too big an aim at violent crime and just do cases to do cases. And what Dawn's asked us to do is try to work in partnership to identify those people who are really driving violence, or those groups that are really driving violence, or those places that are associated with violence, and then figuring out how to address them. And sometimes that means prosecutions, and sometimes that means deterrence and just talking to people, and sometimes it means boarding up a house or trying to get a house knocked down. And so that brings us to sort of the partnership that we have with the Detroit Police Department and the partnership that we have here in the 11th Precinct. We have fellow prosecutors who are working together with your good representatives, these excellent police officers, the ceasefire units. They meet weekly and they try to, our folks are trying to understand what is driving violence, what particular things are happening before they get out of hand. And so what we've seen a lot in the past is violence in one context happens with groups of young men who start shooting at each other. And it goes, and there's shots back and forth, or things on Facebook or the internet. And what we found is sometimes you can nip that in the bud if you can move fast. And that might be just going to someone and talking to them, say, we're looking, stop shooting. And sometimes it may mean someone gets arrested with a gun, and we're going to take that gun case and take it seriously and give it attention because that person's on their way to shooting. And if we can do that in time, sometimes we can nip those cycles of violence before they really spin out of control. So that's something we're trying to do. We're trying to work with the folks in the ceasefire groups to sort of understand what's happening in real time. Too often in the federal government, information like that takes a long time to get to us. And so it goes, in the past, sometimes it's gone from community groups to police officers, to federal partners, to a different federal partner, to a federal prosecutor. And then we work back down through this long chain, and that can take months. And in the meantime, that cycle of violence has spread. And so what we're trying to do now by having assistant United States attorneys sitting in these weekly meetings is to understand what's happening right now. So we can address things right now before they get out of hand. And so we can take as narrow an approach as we can to try to address the violence. But the other thing that we've learned is that folks like you know more than anybody else about what's happening. And it might be that there's a particular house. So we've been in partnership here in the 11th for a few months. We've been in the 9th precinct a little longer. We learned that there was a particular house that was boarded up. It was abandoned. It had lots of drug dealing. It had lots of, it had sex workers in the house. It had all sorts of problems in that house. It was an abandoned house. They tried boarding it up. We were able to, in partnership with the folks in the 9th precinct and the great work of the mayor's office, that house got moved up the knockdown list, and it was knocked down last week. And so, like, learning something like that, getting those houses taken care of is not a tool we have, but we can work in partnership to try to understand it, and then we can have sort of these conversations about how we can best address these things. So that's a long way of saying we're going to continue having prosecutors sitting weekly with the folks in your precinct. You will see Diane or myself or Mr. Livingston, or there's a fourth prosecutor who may be here. Her name is Danielle Asher. She'll be here next month. She is the one who sits here weekly on those enforcement ceasefire meetings. So she has a very good sense of what's happening sort of on the violent crime side in the precincts. So you'll see us. What we're here mostly to do is not talk unless you want to hear from us. We are trying to be transparent about what we're doing. So if you ever have questions about what is happening on the federal side, they're here to answer those questions. And there's lots of stuff we can't talk about. There's not investigation, things like that. We can't talk about that. But if you're curious about the guy who got arrested last week, they can help find that out if it's a federal arrest. So they can answer those questions. But mainly we're here to listen and just try to understand from you all what's happening in your community so that we can work in partnership to deal with those things that we can help with. I recognize there's a very slim amount of things that we can help with. Those things that we can help with, we want to do better and do better. And so that's what we're going to be doing here. And you'll see one of us or more than one of us, hopefully every month. So don't be surprised. And if you have anything that you want to say or you want to hear from us, we can come up and talk, or you can just meet us in the hallway if you have something private you want to talk. That's about it.
And yeah, I live in the 7th precinct myself, and I know Don grew up in the 11th precinct. So it's an honor to be here, and I'll see you guys around. Thanks for welcoming us tonight. And yeah, let's see what we can do.
So I want to thank you and your team very much because just since in the brief time that they've been coming to the 11th precinct, AUSA Huggable was able to assist us with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office and moving forward one of the ultra violent criminals in our neighborhood right here. And without his help, I don't know if it would have gone the way it did. So very, very effective, as well as I was, as part of my job is to go over reports to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. I was able to observe one of our gun stat people with somebody who's violent with a gun. And they had been, not only were they in cases with us, they're also in cases with our special victims unit. And the AUSA was able to take them and charge them with a gun crime. And they had been in over a dozen violent crimes. And unfortunately, a lot of them were domestic violence. And unfortunately, people in those type of relationships, situations don't press charges. Unfortunately, it's very sad, but with their help, we were able to take him. He's in custody right now and no longer in our community. So thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll have questions, we're here to answer them, but if not, Ms. McCann?
Yes, I have a question. Now, we, with crime, regardless, let's just say of whatever kind, and our officers go out and they arrest these people. And sometime before we go to bed, or they back out. So my question is the Attorney General, am I saying it right?
United States.
United States Attorney have any say-so about the local people letting these people out? A good example is you let somebody lock them up, they violated probation, so now you put their little box on their leg, the little tell. Okay, before sundown, drug man is in the store and every place else and still out committing crimes. What are they doing about that? Because we it's time out for a pat on the back. Okay, because we're losing people, officers are getting hurt, seniors sitting on their porch, and just for no reason. Okay, so what is we doing about our local?
So we have very little influence.
Okay.
So those cases, the cases you're talking about are cases that are charged by the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office.
Right.
And go to Wayne County courts. And so those are all state courts and county courts. We don't have any influence on that. So everybody who we deal with comes to federal court. They're local problems. So the people that this captain was just talking about are folks that we charge federally and they go to federal court. So it's a different court, different setting. One of the things we look at when we sit at those meetings, if you have that person who keeps on violating, the case the captain was talking about was a young man who was involved in lots of shootings. And he was out on one and commits another. There was very little for our office. It was so federal jurisdiction is very limited. If, for instance, if you're not a felon and you're just involved in a shooting, there's no federal crime. That's not a federal crime. So I can't charge that. I can't take that case into our office. So I do the intake for minor. I can't take that case into our office. That's got to go to the state because we don't have jurisdiction. If he's a felon, there's a state crime for being a felon in possession of a firearm. But it's just a guy like that guy, that young person who did not have a felony conviction. So there's no state crime. So what we did in that instance, as Captain indicated, Terrence Hogbook, who's the other prosecutor who comes to that weekly meeting, got on the phone with his colleagues where he used to work in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and said, you guys need to look at this. This is a serious thing. And he did that over a period of weeks and ultimately got their attention and got them to go to court and ask the judge to revoke the bond. And it worked, and the judge revoked the bond. They have a whole different set of problems in Wayne County. That is a different reality, because there are so many cases, and the pandemic shut down the courts, and they're so backlogged, that I know, we know, and Dawn knows, and I suspect Ms. Worthy knows what a big problem that is. I wish I could tell you that I had a fix to it. I have no fix to it. If there are folks like this guy who was involved in these shootings, or you know someone like that, we ought to talk about it. And that's why we have AUSAs here. That's why we have prosecutors here, is to look at those cases and say, I can't take every case. We have a very small court. We don't have the resources. We don't have the number of lawyers and things like that. So we can't take all the cases, even that qualify. But if there are shooters or people who are involved in violence, that's what we do. And we're trying to focus on that like a laser. And if you got that guy and I can take him, we'll take him. So that's the one thing I can tell you is if you got a guy, my name, so you all know who we press for this, or who you call me out if we don't live up to this in 3 months. But what we're looking for is people who are driving violence. And if I can take those cases, we'll take them. Because I would rather take that one defendant out of your community and bring peace than things cycle back up and people start shooting at one another. And then we have to do a much bigger case. Like if we can take that one case, and they're trying to do that in a number of ways. They're trying to do that if they're a felon in possession of a gun, and we can take that kind of case, we'll take that kind of case. That violent guy has a federal amount of drugs. We'll take a drug case. We'll take whatever it is. We've done a lot of cases here in the last year where we're taking folks who were involved in some fraud on unemployment insurance during the pandemic. And those are cases that the amounts aren't so much that we would normally take, but because people like you came, or officers came and said, you don't understand, this guy is the guy driving violence in this neighborhood. This is the guy who's causing. If that's the situation, then we'll work on a fraud case, which seems very strange. Dawn calls it the Al Capone approach. Al Capone, they did on a tax case, and it was the head of the line. So we can take off the violent crime, a driver of violence through a fraud case, just to try to remove them from the community, let those people sit on their porches, enjoy their day, let those old folks who we're talking about enjoy their day, like let the young folks who want to enjoy this community enjoy their community without that nonsense going on. We'll take it however we can, but I can't promise you. In fact, I promise you we cannot take every case. And I want to be honest with you, and I want to make sure that you understand where I'm coming. We can't take every case. Some of them just don't fit federally, and some of them don't fit because we don't have enough room to take all those cases. But if you have guys who are shooting at each other, we're going to look at everyone.
And this may be way off the chart,
It's okay.
but over the weekend, they had those gang of guys at the Rockies gun shop.
Yes.
Now they got these dudes, I mean, they loading in 8 at a time and have security standing outside the building while they're inside robbing the building. Now, how far up the chain is that gonna go? Because this is some serious business. Now we have all these guns on the street now, which means it's putting our officers in danger again. Here we go again.
You couldn't be, I'm just gonna interrupt you because you don't even need to give me any more credit. I know that case because we're working on it. Her supervisor is working round the clock on it.
Oh my, I'm just blown away.
And I should say, if this works well, and once you all have some confidence in us and some trust in us, hopefully this communication will be 2 ways. Hopefully you guys will tell us about things like that. If anybody has the information about that, I'll give you my home number, I'll give you my wife's number. Because
it's scary. When you look at that, that is so scary because to me that's vicious. And you're out there and you're ready for malice, and you don't care how you're gonna go out here and you get ready to hurt somebody. You're gonna sell them to somebody that's gonna hurt somebody. It's just a vicious cycle.
You're gonna sell them to someone who doesn't want to buy them legitimately,
right.
And that's the
one that you need to be scared of. Exactly.
So we are gonna throw. Okay. We are already throwing every real resource we have.
Okay.
At that.
Okay.
If you all have information or your nephew has information, we'll take it. The ATF, I mean, there are lots of investigations I can't talk about and I won't talk about it. This one, you all know, we're throwing everything we can.
Okay.
And if we get to the bottom of those cases, we're gonna do everything we can to bring those cases. Breaking into a federally, so all those gun stores are federally licensed, that makes that a federal crime.
Okay.
So we'll do everything we can.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Any questions online? I'm sorry, people on Zoom, I am not ignoring you, not by far. Just raise your hand so that we can see it, but do you guys have any questions on Zoom? Any concerns? If you do, raise your hand and we'll take you off of mute and then you take yourself off of mute. No hands, okay.
Thank you.
We good in here?
I have a question. Who, you bring me criminals in downtown, you bring your criminal in downtown to court. The judge is so lean on something. You know, this, sometimes personal bond, then it'll be a terrible crime. Yeah, a little personal bond. Who is the judge's boss? One guy, who the judge is?
So it's important here. It's important here to distinguish which system you're in because their boss is different. The Wayne County judges, their boss is you all.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
They have to get elected.
Right, well, that's true.
And so their boss is you. They have sort of a boss in the Supreme Court Administrator's office and people they answer to in the court system. But at the end of the day, their boss is you. In the federal system, it's a little different. The president appoints those people and the United States Senate approves them. And other than impeaching them, they have no boss. So our judges, the judges we deal with, they are presidentially appointed judges, and the Constitution says they serve for life or until they're dead. So they don't ever have to run for an election again. And the reason they do that is a good reason. They don't want the idea in the Constitution was sometimes they need to make politically unpopular decisions, and they ought to have the security to make those decisions because they think it's the right thing. But you can certainly, again, you all matter, and we will try to, cases that come to us, like I say, if you have questions about them, we'll try to report back to you about what happened. If you have a particular question about a particular case, we can write it down and come back and tell you what happened. And if you've got a grievance about it, we can try to figure that out and figure out why the judge did X, Y, or Z. Our judges, again, the sentences we get are usually a little different than the sentences they get in Wayne County. Don't hold that against Wayne County. That's a whole different set of problems that they've got in Wayne County than we do. But what we're going to try to be is transparent with you and tell you what's happening in the cases that come to us.
Yes, ma'am. I just want somebody from downtown to come to one of these meetings from Worthy's office or either the, I know we have the judge that comes in.
Yeah, we have McConaughey, the Chief Judge McConaughey.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
very
said, I think Perkins, Judge Perkins may be on here as well. So we do have, yeah.
Yes, we need weeks so that we can, some of our questions can be answered. I understand.
You want someone from the prosecutor's
I
office.
want someone from the local. I understand that this is on the federal level, which is a higher level, but we need someone on the local level. I won't bother you no more now.
Those folks are working very hard. I promise you, they're working hard too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it down. I'm trying to find somebody that want to go work with somebody.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I got you. All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Great information. Appreciate it. Let's see. I'm not going to forget about it. You ready to stay for me? Okay. I'm going to get a hold to Mr. Martin. Good evening, Mr. Martin. I see you're with us tonight, and I see Judge Perkins is with us as well.
Yes, ma'am. How are you this evening? Can you hear me?
I can, but you're really low. Can we do? It might be on our end, so hold tight for a second.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see if we can hear you better now.
Can you hear me?
We can, but you're real low. But I think it's on our end.
Okay. I'm just here to wish you a good evening, and I'm very interested in listening to the presentations this evening. I have Judge Perkins with me on the line to speak, addressing some of the concerns that you might have in our court.
Okay. Is that better? Okay, speak again for us.
Can you hear me now?
Oh my God, 1,000% better. Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, we got you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Was just here as receiving you guys and wishing you greetings from the 36th District Court, Chief Judge Bill McConicle. I have the Honorable Judge Sean Perkins on the line with me. If you have any concerns about the court, he can field those questions for you. We're working on something within the court that I'm going to bring to our next meeting. I'm not privy to speak about it right now, but we're always here in support of the 11th Precinct. And anything we can do to help or any questions that you have, you can give to me. And if I can't answer them directly, I will give the answer to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Judge Perkins.
Hello. How you doing, President Jackson? I appreciate you having me on, and Mr. Martin. And I want to just start by saying I really appreciate the work you've been doing, because I'm just sitting here listening to all the information that you're bringing to the community, and it's unfortunate that we can't get hundreds of people in that community on, because you just got some valuable speakers today. But I did hear a lot of the people in the audience wanting to ask some questions about the 36th District Court and our local judges. We are the district court level, so we handle cases, pretty much the egregious, every felony case that happens in the city of Detroit is going to come through the 36th District Court. I'm not on the felony docket now, but at any time, the chief judge has the authority to appoint me to any docket that he wants me on. I'm on the traffic docket now, and I've always opened my court up to all the community. Whoever has any kind of traffic issues with the last name of G, L, or O, they can always zoom in to my courtroom at any time. We can get them a reasonable bond and a reasonable offer, so we can try and get them back on the road. But I'm sure that a lot of people in the audience have a lot more serious questions as far as the crimes and how the system works. And you can feel free to ask me anything that you have a question on about the court and its operation. Just keep in mind that we keep the case only up until or through the preliminary exam level. And once that case is decided as far as whether there was probable cause for the stop or for the crime that has been committed, then that case gets bound over to our state court judges in the city of Detroit. It will go down over to the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, and one of our county circuit court judges would handle the case from there. So we do set bond. Most of the cases that come through the 36, all the felony cases that come through the 36th District Court, most of them are going to go to one of our presiding magistrates, and that magistrate has the very, very difficult job of setting a bond for an individual. And the Constitution says that this bond must be reasonable. A lot of factors go into setting bond, and most pertinent factors are the person's likelihood of reoffending and the person's likelihood of showing back up to court. So those tasks are done. Once it gets, the person gets arraigned and gets the bond set, it'll go to one of the felony court judges in the 36th District Court who's ever on that felony docket. So from that point, bond can be adjusted. And I think Mr. Martin was going to allude to that a little bit. We have a new administrative, a new lawsuit that I haven't been trained on yet, and it's getting through the system right now. We're gonna get people trained shortly. So when Mr. Martin comes back next month, I'm sure he or I or the chief judge can bring some more valuable information on that. But I'm open here to any other questions that you have, and thank you for having me be here. I'm going to yield my time to anybody who has questions for me.
Yolanda? Okay, I mean, we say that they come in front of the judge or go in front of the magistrate. Okay, and then you have this defendant that come in front. He done had 3 or 4 different pats on the back. And he's still out here. Isn't there some type of database or some kind of, this person right here just cannot be conformed, come hook or crook, but we still letting them out.
And I can say at the arraignment stage, typically there is a prosecutor there at the arraignment stage, and the prosecutor gives the magistrate the information regarding the information, the docket, that the charging document that is there. The magistrate sees the charges that are alleged, and the prosecuting attorney is typically there at that stage if there's to give the magistrate more information about the individual. Again, you know, I kind of am glad I'm not a magistrate, because that magistrate has an extremely difficult job in balancing the rights of the individual, the safety of the community, and when you look at it, you try and do the best job you can to predict this person's level of criminality. I mean, you know, when you have cases that are the more serious cases that they call capital cases, it's probably an easier call. But sometimes you have cases that it's a much more difficult call. The individual doesn't look at that initial hearing, and really they only get one time to see it. The magistrate does. That individual doesn't look like the type of person that is going to go out and commit some heinous crime, and they just have to make that decision really on a case-by-case basis, and really on a in sort of minutes, or really not much time to really look at it. So it does go to a judge, and the judge has an opportunity to either increase the bond or decrease the bond based on the arguments of the individual's counsel and the state attorney. But it's just a difficult job, and I respect the fact that, you know, the community sees things on the news, and they see some of these individuals that go out and reoffend and commit, like the gentleman out in Hartford Woods who's alleged to have killed his mom and people in his family that were out. But it is a very, very difficult job to do, and that's just how the process works.
And you know what, Judge Perkins, I respect that to the utmost, but here's my issue. When you come in as a killer, you don't have no right. You shooting a senior or you hurting a kid, I mean, I know legally, yeah, I get it, I get it, but it's so irritating because how do you have rights and you're a killer? When am I?
Well,
Well,
into that, I think that very, very few of those cases where those allegations are made is a person going to be out. If in Michigan, if you're alleged to commit a murder, you're going to get remanded and there's not going to be a bond.
absolutely.
So that's one of the cases. The other cases, the child abuse cases and those type of things, those are I totally understand what the passion about making sure these people are off the street, and everybody wants to see them off the street. But we have to keep in mind that these are allegations, and based on the severity of the crime or the allegation, there has to be somebody has to make a decision on what is this person's constitutional rights being not violated, and the safety of the community and the level of crime. And I just say it is a very, very difficult decision. I'll know I'll be in that position soon, or sooner rather than later, than have to make the decision. But you try to get it right 100% of the time, and we know that's not going to always happen.
I just wanted to intercede that these judges are working hard every day to see that this doesn't happen. Each case is looked at, like Sean said, individually, and they look at a variety of things to make that determination. The first thing is they're presumed innocent until proven guilty. The magistrates have to take into account, flight risks. Are they, like the judge said, going to come back, or are they not going to show up? And also a danger to the community. In a case like, assumption of murder and different things like that, no bond is set. They're remanded, they're held over. And that's just what it is. So I didn't want to keep on because I'm not a lawyer or a judge, but I just wanted to know from what I see at the court. Cases like that, they don't have a bond. They're held over for trial.
But President Jackson, I assure you that the magistrates and the judges out there on that felony docket, and furthermore, all the judges, they're trying to do the absolute best they can to do that. It is a difficult balance. It is a difficult determination to make, because on the other side of that, you potentially have somebody that's been charged with something and hasn't done anything at all, and they're subject to lose their freedom as well. And on that end of the coin, nobody wants to see that happen either.
Right. And I do. I take my hat off to you guys, because I would never in a million years want to be in a position to say if you're innocent, if you're guilty, and I know it's a ton of work that goes behind there. So, not belittling it by no means at all. It's just, when you said rights, it was like I felt heat coming to my head, because I'm like, how do you have rights? I mean, really, are you kidding me? But I do get it, and I do appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, because it couldn't be me. It just couldn't be. So I thank both of you for all that you do.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, and we really appreciate you having us here. I too myself is when I'm looking even at my traffic cases and misdemeanor cases, I make sure that I look personally at this person's history here at the 36th District Court. Now, that's all I'm privy to at the time, is what they're in front of me. I try to ask questions of the individuals to try to get a better understanding of who's in front of me, but that's all I'm privy to. But trust and believe, I make sure that I look at each and every person that comes before me, their history. I type it in personally, and I take the time to sort of review and see what that person's history is, because keep in mind, I do respect the fact that this person has is innocent until proven guilty, and these are allegations. But I do make sure that, you know, if I see a bunch of EWOP tickets and this person is charged with an EWOP, well, first of all, I want to know what's going on with the individual, and a lot of times what I'm finding is that these enter without permissions. They're coming in, and a lot of these kids come and tell me that they're homeless. They've been homeless since they were 15 or 16 years old, and that's where those things come from. So, but I do look at every case, and I know and I trust that my colleagues are doing the same, and we're just trying to make sure that we do the difficult thing and make sure that we don't run over anybody's constitutional rights, and that we try to keep the community safe. So, any other questions?
I'm good.
My question,
We do have one in here.
my question is, those lovely individuals that does the crime, they go to court, they let them out, they go to court, they let them out on a low bond, they go back and do another crime with the tell them. And then you get a lot of the young folks say, well, I'll be out before daylight. They showed up, they out before daylight, as they put it in young terms. And here, that's why a lot of people, Judge, they don't turn people in, is because when they do the crime, they look back the next day, Johnny walking down the street, looking at them. So that's why a lot of people don't even get involved anymore. And that's why we have so much crime in the city, because people are afraid to get involved because the judge let them out with low bond. And to me, you said criminal have rights, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you told me. Robinson Judge. You said criminal have rights. To me, criminal have more rights than I do. That's what bothers me. I'm a citizen living in Detroit since 1984.
And you haven't done anything.
Never been into trouble with nothing. And these people walk down the street, you said they got more rights than I do. I know they gotta be proven guilty, I understand that. But they say they'll tell you in a minute, I'll be out the next day. Showed up, there go Johnny down the street the next day, you know, turn Johnny in. A lot of times, police officers knock at your door instead of knocking at Johnny door. So everybody know you turn Johnny in. So that's why a lot of people do not get involved, Judge Perkins.
I understand that, and I'll tell you this. That's why I'm so appreciative of President Tandy and the 11th Precinct for making sure that they have open invitation. And what we have here, we have two United States attorneys here in this meeting, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a collaborative effort and bring the community together so that they can root out these things. This is the first time I've ever seen this, and this is what needs to be done. We have my hat's out to the United States Attorney's Office and the everybody that works in there, because when I first heard about the initiative that they're trying to do. And today is my first time in the first community meeting that I've been in, that we've had two United States attorneys have come to the community meeting. And I say that is the pathway to rooting out the crime and cleaning up the streets. And I just applaud you for it. And I thank you for allowing me and Mr. Martin to come in on a regular basis, because you always had an open arm for us. And I applaud the Detroit Police Department. And I just got to applaud you, President Jackson, for facilitating all this, because I truly I'm happy to be a part of it. But we hear what the community is saying, and we are trying our darndest to do the best that we can at the jobs that we're charged to do. And again, I applaud those United States attorneys there as well, because this is what needs to be done, and this is the way that we fight back on crime and bring our community back, and the people that are in this meeting.
Well, thank you as always. We always appreciate you guys You know, we definitely appreciate Mr. Martin. I've called him, you know, a couple of times, and I mean, you guys are awesome, so I can't say anything, but thank you so much for all that you do and for even participating in our community meetings. That means an awfully lot to me, and I'm quite sure to the community as well. So thank you so much for that.
All right, so if anybody, let me give my last little spiel here on the traffic court docket. My name is Judge Sean B. Perkins. My mantra is I bring the court to the community and the classroom, and I handle the last names that end in GL or O, and I encourage anybody that has a friend, a relative, themselves, a grandmother, grandfather, anybody that has a driver's license issue with the last name or GL or O, you can zoom into my court anytime. We will pull your file. We will try and get you a fair and reasonable offer so we can get you back on the road legally. And that stands for any other misdemeanor that you may have. So make sure you take advantage of that. I'll put my information in the chat, but my courtroom clerk is Miss Mathis. Our courtroom phone number is 313-965-2402. And my Zoom ID is 360-434-0000. We start at 8:25, promptly on the nose. All right.
Got it, Zoom ID. And you said your her name is Miss Mathis?
Miss Mathis.
Okay.
I'll put my information in the chat as well. So if anyone has any questions, they can.
I got you on speed dial, so we good.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else do we have on the United States? You gotta help me. Oh, we have Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Oh, I see Mr. Williams. Okay. Hi, Sherry. Are you with us this evening?
Gonna get some leads.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How's everybody doing?
We are great.
Well, that's good. Anyway, I'm here representing Wayne County Commissioner Jonathan C. Kinlock, District 2. He was on, but he had to get off and get on another meeting. As far as updates, they just finished the budget. However, that's something that he was going to speak on, but he had to leave. I think the information to the office and everything is in the chat. And we still have plenty of masks and sanitizer. And if you call me, I can drop it off or mail it to you. If you have any issues or concerns, feel free to call the office. And if we can't address the issue, we would definitely get you in touch with the person that can. And that's it for me.
Awesome, awesome. You always give us some good ones. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
You are so welcome.
I see Mr. Williams. Hi, Keith Williams. Good evening.
Good evening. How you guys doing?
Good.
Well, I bring greetings from my boss, Raphael, the Sheriff Raphael Washington. He want to thank everybody for your support, but more importantly, we're going to be back in the communities in the next couple of weeks. And so you got my number, 313-215-4121. And we're willing to assist in any way we can with the quality of life issues like we did before.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. Appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
I see. Who else am I missing up there? Am I missing anybody?
Everybody's accounted for now.
We got everybody accounted for?
Yeah, we had some people get off.
Well, we have, you know. Hi, Back there, how are you? That's wonderful. It is so good to see you. I was trying to figure out if that was you up there. But then when you came back here, I said, yeah, that's Kim.
Get my phone cord in there, Corey.
Okay. You want to come up here, Commissioner? I'll just come up and say a word or two. I had my staff called to see if the meetings was in, because Robert had told me that you're meeting in person again. We've been doing this for a couple of months. Okay, so that's it. But anyway, I keep it moving. All right. But anyway, I hadn't seen you all in a couple of years, you know, so I said, I just gotta come by. I know I was running late because I had quite a few things to do today. But we did finish the budget today, $1.8 billion budget. We're short of over 1,300 staffers. We're hard to get staff because we don't pay a lot, okay? But we're trying to get that up so that we can. And in all of our departments, we just don't have the staff that we used to have. This is my second time around. First time around, people love to come to the county because we had some money back then, you know, but then it went down. But I must say that our CEO, he is really bringing things up. We're in another class now with the federal budget and stuff. So we're doing better and we're trying to get better. And I do know that being with the sheriff a lot during election time, that they're trying to recruit more, you know. In fact, he spoke at several of my events and he indicated to people if they had someone in their family or even them that, and even some seniors, he said, we may have some jobs for you. So call the sheriff's office and see, and if you have some sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, ask them too, because we certainly do need some more staff everywhere in the county, you know, so. And since I hadn't been around a little bit. We got a handful. We got a few here. All right. Yeah, getting near the end now.
Yep, we have what, September 17th at 6:10, we have September 27th at 6:40, and we have a September 28th. So this is what we're gonna do, because again, these tickets are not going to waste, and you all know how I feel about this. That we are not going to accept these tickets and not use them. If you can't use them, don't go. Or if you can't use them, share them. But don't let them go to waste, and we're giving these tickets because then we're gonna stop getting them and everybody's looks gonna be hung out. So let's just do it right and be fair. If you can't use them, share them. And if you would like to use them, you can get them. So I'm just going, because I usually raffle them off, and I'm being told that these tickets have been sitting here in the office. No one comes to pick them up the winner. That's why I'm griping, because this has been going on for a minute now. I'm gonna put a nip to that right now. Whoever wants them, and that's just how it's gonna go. Whoever wants them, they can actually just take the ticket. I'm not raffling off anything.
What are these tickets for?
Baseball, they're baseball tickets to the
baseball
Tigers.
tickets.
Yeah,
And they're great seats right behind the Tigers.
They're beautiful.
Second row behind it.
Stop it, they're beautiful seats, I can tell you that. But I'm not gonna let them go to waste anymore. Last year or the year before, we had a stack of tickets that was still at that desk that nobody picked up. Not another time. So I'm just gonna go by whoever wants them, first come, first serve. And what we're gonna do.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
What's the date today?
Date is Saturday, September 17th at 6:10. You have a Tuesday, September 27th at 6:40. And you have September 28th at 6:40. Now, gotta be in person, sorry. Sorry, my little people, I love you, my people, I'm sorry.
What day is the 28th? Wednesday.
The 28th is, it's a Wednesday? Okay, it's a Wednesday. It's that one on here. And the other two, one is on a Tuesday and one is on a Saturday. Okay? The 28th or the 17th? I'm sorry, the 28th is on a Wednesday. So you want the 17th Saturday at 6 p.m.? Okay, here we go. Yep, appreciate you. All right. All right, I got 2 left and we'll figure it out. If anybody's on Zoom interested, send me a quick text on my phone, 313-530-0303, and I will leave them here at the station. I'll leave them here at the station for you. We got a Wednesday, the 28th at 6:40, and we have a Tuesday, September 27th at 6:40. So whoever, here they go. But if you're not gonna use them, don't take them.
If they don't pick them up, I say in the next 2 days, we'll bring them back to you by Friday. We'll find somebody else.
So, okay, that sounds good. Well, we missed you and thank you.
Yes, I missed you all too. And because every 10 years we redistrict, I have more of this area now. I have all of what Commissioner Clark Coleman had. She has moved further to the west. Yeah. They have just really shifted us, you know. So, but I still have all that I had when I was in the state senate and that. And so I'm just grateful. Amen. You know, that I have so many that I didn't have for the last few years, but I have you again, and I am just honored. And you know, you can always call on me. Please do.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you all. Good to see you too, Officer. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. All right. Love you dearly.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's your turn. I'm sorry. I just tried to cut you off the midstream. I'm so sorry.
I understand. It's very late. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So I'm Damian Mitchell. I'm your small business and community liaison for Councilman Scott Benson's office. My job is to make sure that all your concerns are addressed. I pride myself on making sure that we return your call as soon as possible. Because one thing that I hate personally is calling, trying to get something done, and nobody ever called me back or getting a voicemail.
Look, I was on vacation, man. I told you.
That was like a weekend. But it's really important that at least Monday through Friday, that we make sure that we address you when you call the office. Because how many people in here pay taxes? Oh, okay. How many people want somebody to answer when they call? Oh, okay. So we committed to making sure that your issues are resolved the best we can. If you need us to come out, we'll come out. I came out last week looking at a tree on the sidewalk, and I ended up helping somebody change the tire to their car. So, you know, things happen. But our district office is at 6 Mile and Gratiot. That's 13560 McNichols. And 13560 McNichols.
Matrix.
In the Matrix Center. And it's by appointment. So you call in and we'll arrange to sit down with you and handle your issue. So anywhere from sidewalk repair to your trees need to get trimmed, we address the departments that's supposed to be done for you. Yes. Oh, what about your tree?
By my tree.
Oh, didn't they come out?
I won't take up any time.
Yeah, I'll talk to you after the meeting. You're in trouble now. You don't let them get a word.
I do take the job really serious, and I'm dedicated to making sure I do the best job I can. So I'm here, I'm working for you, and yeah, you can always call. We got the new resource guides with all the updated department numbers so that you have access to, and they have our district office number also. And again, I'm Damian Mitchell. I work for you. I'm dedicated to making sure things get done to the best of my abilities. And also, we have Terry Catches in our office, and we work together. All right.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Is there a phone number we can reach you?
Yes. The phone number is 313-530-0587. 313-530-0587.
Oh, your announcement, yes, Yolanda.
Yes. Oh, it's by appointment. It's by appointment. Gotta make an appointment. I usually be there from 10 to 5, sometimes 7. I've been there till 8 before. But yeah. About 10 to 5.
Okay, my name is Yolanda McKenzie. I'm the president of the Detroit Police Citizen Academy Alumni Association. And we're looking for new members. So if you're interested in taking the class and becoming a member of the Detroit Police Citizen Academy to help you continue to understand how the department works, the difference that we can make along with continuing to volunteer in our local precincts. I have some applications here. The class is 6 weeks long. You get a certificate and you graduate, and we have a good time. All right. And we'll also have a table at the meeting for the chief, town hall meeting. Okay.
If you don't go yourself, please recommend it to your friends.
Yes.
Because I've seen the work they do, and you can see how vocal Miss McCants is. She's my other boss I have. So, like the other people have said, it's because of you that we're able to do things. So, Citizen Police Academy is a great opportunity. So, like, if you don't want to do it yourself, or you know somebody that wants to, please let her know. Because it's a really good opportunity. They do a lot of different things. You guys go to a lot of different things.
Yes, we do. Yes,
We
we
went to
do.
the 911 call center and.
Yes, yes.
And you know
yes.
what? And my whole perspective of that changed immediately when I walked in that door. I looked in there and I said, there's no way on God's green earth that this can be done. And you have to have that patience, that calmness, because the boards and the lights and the blinking and the dinking and the phones, and I was like, well, I don't know what button to hit. I'm like, I mean, scream. It's amazing when you walk in there. And you know, I always say my issue when I call it's important. My issue is the top priority. Well, reality, it's not important when you have 8 other runs and shootings, and then you realize, you know what, maybe that isn't so important after all. It makes you kind of settle down a little bit. And it took me a little bit to learn that, but going through that class, amazing. Amazing, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
We have Tammy Black. She wanted to.
Okay, well, tell her to unmute herself and hello, Tammy Black.
Hi, everyone. I'm not on, I don't have myself on so you guys can see me because I'm in my bedroom right now. But I wanted to come to this meeting because I used to live in District 3 about 34 years ago off of 75 on Robinwood. I'm working my way back to District 3. I'm in District 4 now, Jefferson Chalmers, and I started the Manistee Community Treehouse Center over in Jefferson Chalmers, and I'm working my way back to my love of District 3, and I just want to be a part to see how can Manistee Community Treehouse Center come in and help to make the neighborhoods better, offer programs for the children, offer programs for mom with kids who are homeless, youth who are homeless. So we just want to be a part in any way that we can help. Lawn cutting for the seniors. It's a lot of things that we can do, and I wanted to sit in on this meeting with you guys tonight and other meetings just to see how we can help and how I can meet everyone possibly in person. so that we can talk about how we can help. So I'm glad to be here. You guys had a lot of great information. I'm just excited to be here and coming back home to see where I can help at.
And we appreciate having you, and all I can do is say thank you, thank you, thank you. I really do. That's awesome. We appreciate that. We can use all the help, especially our seniors, the ones that can't get around or have mobility issues. I'm quite sure, you know, we'll get, and we can, you know, get you any information you need. How do we reach you?
Thank you.
Do you have a phone? Do you have a phone number that we can reach you?
Yes, yes. Okay. My phone number is 313-903-0639. My email address is pretty long, so maybe I'll put it into the chat. And also I'll put our website into the chat so you can kind of check out some of the things that we've done and that we're continuing to do. I've also installed solar panels in Jefferson Chalmers on 25 rooftops. Half of my seniors have a $6 utility bill now, and they're very, very happy about that. So I want to talk to you guys about that too also. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I'm going to put that information in the chat and see how we can get together and have a conversation and just to sit down and see what I can do.
All right, that's a beautiful thing. The number is 313-903-0639. Yep. All right. It's close to 8 o'clock, and I really don't want to hold, you know, the officers up, you know, because I know their days are always long. So you guys know that we've gotten some money from our state rep, Cherie Tanadar. And in the midst of that, I have gone out so far and I've bought 7 Ring doorbells. You understand that you guys have to have the internet. Now, I want you guys to know, it's not my problem if your Ring doorbell does not work with your internet. I can't do anything about it. And I get people that get angry with me because their Ring doorbell doesn't work. That Ring doorbell goes off of your internet. So if you don't have a fast internet or you have whatever your situation may be, I'm sorry. But I can't help you. So I just want you guys to know, but you have to make sure, 1, you have the internet, and 2, make sure you have a good connection, because it doesn't make a difference if you have a Ring doorbell and you can't use your phone. That's the purpose of having the Ring doorbell. So make sure that, you know, I have people who sent me, reached out to me on the internet, and that's how I told people to send me an email. That's how I told folks to do it. Send me an email if you wanted to. So I have a bunch of names in here. I have a bunch of names, and I'm gonna let Captain pick up. Well, y'all better give me your email address, and I'll send you one. Or I'm gonna give mine. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give mine out again. Okay, I'm gonna give it out again. KIMJ 4267@gmail.com. And what we're gonna do is, once we have our 7 people, because I have everybody's phone number, I'm gonna then at that point give you a call, and then you're gonna have to come up here to the station to pick up your Ring doorbell. You're gonna have to sign off on it. I'm gonna have an NPO. When they give you that Ring doorbell, we're gonna write down that number so we know that, Miss Green, you have this Ring doorbell. It's nothing, we're not gonna use it for personal, but if the state rep comes back to me, I'm gonna have my ducks in a row. And I'm gonna say, Miss Green lives at this address, she got this Ring doorbell, so we'll have proof of everything that's going on, okay? So we're not taking that information, so we know that she got a Ring doorbell, so some jump off, we're gonna call her. No, that's not what we're gonna do. So I am going to purchase more Ring doorbells, okay? My goal is to try to do them next month, but we're gonna do them next month. There's no, that's making this different. We're gonna do them next month. But right now, and like I said, if you want one, make sure you email me. And what I did, I took everybody that emailed me, and here, just so that you know, and I'm like my daddy, not shucking and jabbing with you. I got front and back of everybody that has sent me one. And in there, and I tell everybody, I need your address and I need a phone number. And if you don't provide it to me, I'm gonna reach back out and ask you. And if you don't want to give it to me, I'm moving to the next one. I'm not playing, I'm not gonna argue with you. Name, address, and phone number.
Is this your email address, KimJ@426?
No, not at, it's KIMJ 4267 at gmail.com.
Let me repeat it again. KIMJ 4267 at Gmail.
Correct. Yes. Yep. So, Captain, I'm gonna let you do the honors and start picking some names for us. You sure can.
Okay. The first winner is Dr. Cheryl Moore.
Oh, wow. Dr. Moore. Okay. All right, here we go.
The second winner is Miss Gwendolyn Loving.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Is she on the?
Brenda's not here.
Where is she?
Oh, she, I think her niece there.
Oh, well,
Oh, we'll
okay,
call her.
we'll get a hold of
I'll
her.
let her know.
Yeah, and tell her we'll be getting in touch with her. Okay.
The next one is Miss Doris Edwards. You have to be president. No.
No idea. I don't know who's Doris Edwards.
That's three.
Okay.
To the seven.
Yeah, I got seven. If not, I go by seven.
Okay, Miss Joyce Morissette.
She's usually on too. Okay.
Yes, I mean, 1, 2, 3, that's 4.
And like I say, we have people's numbers, so I will call and, you know, everybody and let them know.
Miss Monica Gooden.
Yeah. We'll be getting in touch with you.
Okay. Miss Carmen Sneed.
Carmen Sneed.
She's our church secretary.
All right. Well, tell
You
Miss
can't
Sneed.
claim her doorbell. I know her.
Okay, we got what? This
Okay,
last one?
this is the last one.
Okay.
This is the last one, and our final winner is Miss Diana Anston.
Austin, woo!
Austin. Diana Austin. Let the record reflect.
Right. All right, everybody who got the doorbell.
My question is, how do we qualify for the raffle?
Send me an email. When you send me an email, what I'm doing is when I get the email, I take your name, like I did on this paper here, and I write your name, your address, your phone number. I hold this until our community meeting, then I cut up all the names, and I put them in this bag, and we raffle everything off. So I am going to raffle off a couple of more in October, and it seems I wanted to try to do the Amazon plug. And I was thinking about that, like for the kids, and now that it gets dark earlier now, because of course the seasons are changing, when the kids get home from school, instead of coming home in the dark, they're able to control the lights from their phones. So before they come in, they're not coming into a dark house. They're coming in and say, you know what, we got a light in the living room, I have a light in the kitchen, I have a light in my bedroom. They can turn on lights as they come in the house and not walk into a dark home. So I am gonna start working on some of those plugs. Home Depot used to sell them. I can't find them at all Home Depots anymore. So I might have to order them off of Amazon, because I know Amazon has, because I have them. So I'm definitely gonna do that for the kids. I see you. I got somebody, right? And I do have them, yes.
And the question was, make sure that get hardwired. And I bought the Ring doorbell that I have works for both hardwired and battery. I'm gonna let you know about that battery though. That battery, and if you have your porch is hot or you get a lot of sun, that battery is going to drain fast. So you're gonna wanna hardwire if you can. I suggest hardwiring, but the kind that I bought allows you to do both. And then you don't want to be in a situation where you need to charge the battery. Being, Bob doing something on the business. So you want to kind of be mindful and hardwire if you can. That will last longer than those darn batteries.
That's correct. That was my suggestion, right? With hardwire, if your doorbell works, you just take that off and you connect it to those wires. Because the batteries will go down. You'll be forgetting to charge it.
Yeah. And they do take a little bit to charge too. So be mindful of that. So if you have to charge it, don't think in an hour you're gonna get your Ring doorbell back. Ain't happening. So it's gonna take a little bit. So, just be mindful. And like again, I'm gonna try to get at least another 5. At least another 5 to 6. I'm gonna work on getting some more. And we're gonna draw those again. We're gonna do those in October. So just be mindful. We're gonna do them again. Yes, ma'am.
What about the Ring cameras as opposed to?
Same thing.
No, I mean getting those.
Well, I can, but more people can control and want the doorbell because people will ring those, for packages and things like that. I can look into the camera, but the request did come in for Ring doorbell. That's why I haven't done it, but I can.
My suggestion with the camera is that you have a Ring doorbell first and then add the camera and things like that. Start off with the doorbell.
And most of those, the camera light, most people put those on the rear of the house. Okay, where it is controlled with this hardwire, automatically walk under the light comes on. Okay.
All right. Well, are there any questions on Zoom? It is a little bit after 8, but I thought this was a great meeting tonight. A lot of great information. Downwell, you on my speed dial. But one thing I didn't tell you guys, and I want you guys to know, we did a DPD summit on August 27th.
Yes.
That was the best summit I have ever been to. That was amazing. And I wish we could have had, we had quite a few people there, don't get me wrong, but I wish we would have had more because of the information that was given out. The scenarios that took place, I thought it was incredible. And all I can do is thank, AC Ewing, the commanders, our captains, the chief. I mean, it was amazing. So they did a great job. Great information. I wasn't supposed to stay the whole time, but it was so interesting. I blew off my whole day and I stayed there to attend that meeting. So that's how well it was. So I want to let you guys know it was great. We do have our last Bike with the Cop this Thursday. We're going to, it's going to be at Lasky Recreational Center. That's at 13200 Fenelon Street. And we will be giving away bikes. So if you know anybody that want to come and do maybe about an hour, we're going to start at 5:30. We're going to go to 7 o'clock. At the end of the ride, they'll usually take the bikes over real good, and then you're able to take the bikes with you. So please, come out. Let's make this a nice last big ride. I also did a District Detroit downtown tour. What date was that? What day was that, Mr. Darwell?
It was
last week.
It was last week.
It was last week.
Yeah.
You know what? That was another great tour. And I'm gonna tell you this, people always say, why are we putting money downtown? Well, downtown is where it starts. I'm not coming to Chicago to go to the neighborhood. I'm going downtown Chicago because I want to eat, I want to shop. And if we don't have a downtown, you have nothing. And I went through that and now I understand
There's money being spent down there. Yes, I get it. And you have to have a downtown. And the first thing I thought about, I'm like, you're right, because when I go to Chicago, I don't care where you live. I want to eat, shop, and have a good time. That's what I'm looking for. The clubs or the restaurants, the clothing stores. That is what you're looking for. And now it all makes sense. Once we start focusing on our downtown, then of course it's starting to spill over in our neighborhood. And it may not be as fast as we want it, but it is happening. And we may not see everything that's going on, but trust and believe me, after this tour, oh, it's coming. It's coming. Great. Yes, Mr. Downwell.
So I just like to piggyback on that. Sometimes we don't see what's actually coming to our neighborhoods because of the time that it takes. One of the biggest things that investment knows is that we have to grow education, right? So a couple of things that is coming as a part of what's going on downtown is better schools. So the Villages and Stephen A. Ross are collaborating on a new school that's going to break ground in the downtown area very soon. And it's going to be a school that's going to be open to students from across the city, along with other ideas and concepts that they would like to hear from the community to help our neighborhoods. No, you can't go with, pie in the sky ideas, but things that are relative to actually, for a long term, help our communities, they want to hear. So I think it's important that no matter what the group is, or whether you want to, attack it with a council member, reach out to the, to the Illich group, reach out to the Gilbert group, go through the process of the tours, hear what they're doing, hear what they're actually doing, and get involved and engaged, even in the spending process. The same thing, they're looking to help create jobs. They're looking to help place people. So it is important that we stay engaged, right? You hear about the tax credits, you hear about all this other stuff. I'm going to say this, President, let it be done. But, there was this big thing about Dan Gilbert getting a $60 million tax credit on the Hudson site. But I think people forgot that he committed $500 million to our neighborhoods and communities.
Exactly.
The first thing that he did was give my office $15 million. Again, it's administrated by Wayne Metro, with $15 million to help pay people's taxes and help stabilize our communities. He's also committed another $25 million in home repair. That's the Detroit Home Repair Fund. So there are things that are being done to help our communities, but we have to get engaged and we have to participate. They are doing things. So yes, our downtown is growing, but they're definitely working on our neighborhoods and our behalf.
And that school, the business school?
Yep.
That school.
Detroit Center for Innovation.
Oh my God, amazing. I'm like, if you have a kid or a student that's ready to go to a college, that is the place to be. It is amazing in there.
Well, Madam President, we are getting a new person next week.
Yes, we
are.
are.
We get that
Yeah, we are, you're right. But that college is amazing. It is amazing. And I'm telling you, it was something to be reckoned with. You gotta go, and like you said, you gotta take the tours, you gotta go down there and see it for yourself. Me telling you means nothing. So you guys gotta see it. Great, it was a great tour, so. All right, we good? Anybody online, Zoom, we're good?
I have an announcement, Madam President.
Okay.
Who is that?
Dr. Moore.
Okay, I want to thank you, the 11th Precinct, as Sharice started off, for the Ring doorbell. But the announcement that I have to make is the Good News Church is having the Christmas cantata. It's going to be at the Fox Theater on Tuesday, September the 20th at 7 p.m. And those that want tickets, they can go online to get the tickets. The website to get these free tickets is www.christmascantata, that's CANTATA.us, or they can call this number, 248-586-8255. 248-608-1409. That telephone number to get these free tickets is 248-608-1409. And this is a musical play about the birth of Jesus Christ. So I just wanted to add that information out to the community.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that information, Dr. Moore. It is now 8:15 and we're gonna call it a night. Thank you all for coming out. Appreciate each and one of you and stay safe, okay?